Well, the truth is, I just assumed that that was going to get made. Like, it wasn't even like a. That was just the thing we were working on. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't. It wasn't even a scenario where I didn't think it would happen. I just felt like it would. I think. You know what I mean? It just felt to me like it was inevitable because when you're in production on something, you just think, well, you know what? There's a great script. Ben wants to do it. He's got a great bad guy. What? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, why are we talking about this? Why aren't cameras rolling?
Gotham is yours. None shall interfere. Do as you please.
In today's video, we are continuing our coverage on the SnyderVerse and some interesting things that have come out since the release of Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves' The Batman. It had nothing to do with the studio or any executives. That movie has done pretty well so far because of the director, Matt Reeves. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel DC pop culture based videos we do on a daily basis. If you please subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, comment down below 500 times and shares the video. It really does help the algorithm. Also, if you want to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, just check us out on Instagram at Warstu on Instagram. Also, I've just reached 30 followers on Twitter. If you want to follow me over there, it's at Warstu G. It would be much appreciated. So, I don't normally make these kind of videos, but I've always said on this channel, when I've got an opinion on something and when I want to talk and when there's actually information about the SnyderVerse, your boy will start talking. So, last week, The Batman came out, starring Robert Pattinson, directed by Matt Reeves. At the moment, it's made $258 million with a budget of $150 million-ish and a marketing budget of probably the same. So, it's got a turnover somewhere between $350 to $400 million to break even. Now, that movie is going to be a success. It's already a critic success, and for some reason, Hollywood studios like Warner Brothers, like Disney, they care about what the critics think. Even though I'm a critic, they care about what critics think. So, something that is very dishonest, and that's the reason I'm making this, is Toby Emmerich is trying to take credit for the success of The Batman. Now, that's very patronizing because of the following statements. Toby Emmerich went to a great deal of length to stop Joaquin Phoenix, Todd Phillips, the Joker movie from being made. Now, that Joker movie is one of DC's most successful movies. It had such a small budget, there was literally no CGI, and it made $1 billion. But Toby Emmerich went to great lengths to stop the DC comic adaptation from ever being made, going as far to drop the budget in an effort to defer Todd Phillips from making that movie. So why am I saying that? Because recently, this has done the rounds in the last few days, and it's worth saying, this has only come out since there's a headline, and since the narrative is that the Batman movie starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, is very successful. So, Toby Emmerich came out and said this: the secret of the movie business is quality. It's the best business strategy for both theatrical, motion pictures, and superhero movies. The movies don't have to all have the same tone or interlock with the DC movies, or have an Easter egg that sets up another film. Quality is the most important factor to a studio, and the biggest thing you can do to influence quality is the filmmaker you hire. Okay, say that to Zack Snyder. Now, the only way this actually has any creditation or any merit is if when David Zaslav comes in with Warner Bros. Discovery and restores the whole of the SnyderVerse. Now, if this statement here is going to have any merit, you literally have to bring Zack Snyder back. And then you look at the Sweden cut and you literally have Ben Affleck Batman on the floor saying, oh my god, that hurt. How was that scene ever allowed in a movie? Also, Ezra Miller's Flash falling on top of Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. How were some of them scenes made? And then you read the quote again. Influencer quality is the filmmaker that you hire. How the hell did you ever let Josh Whedon take over Zack Snyder's epic visionary? Now, I know you're going to say it's not a visionary, but it is a visionary. It was literally in the top 3 highest streaming movies of 2021. Also, it's HBO Max #1 streaming on their platform in a year when we got Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, etc. You got to remember that's a movie dating back from 2017, and it absolutely smoked it. How is Toby Emmerich trying to take creditation and credit for a movie? Quality is the most important factor for a studio, and the biggest thing you can do to influence quality is the filmmaker that you hire. All you had to do is let Zack Snyder deal with it. Yes, there was a family tragedy. You should have given him the time. Even though it's a global phenomenon, the head of Warner Media, has even come out and recently said it. So in order for this statement to actually be true, what has to happen, and it's not going to happen via Walter Hamada or Toby Emmerich, is when David Zaslav comes through, restore everything. There is literally the Ayer cut of a movie sat there that for some reason Ann Sernoff came out after the Zack Snyder Justice League came out and smashed it. It's like, no, we're not going to release it. Even though we know it's literally sitting there waiting for it. Now, this is very hypocritical. Ben Affleck was going to be called the Batman, but Toby Emmerich pushed him out because he essentially didn't like him, pretty much. We all know what the BatFleck movie was going to have. It was going to have Joe Manganiello Deathstroke. It was going to be crazy good. And Ben Affleck is still keen to be the Batman. I know he says in the Flash movie it's bittersweet, but trust me, Zack asked him to come back to do the scene for the Justice League Snyder Cut, the Nightmare scene. If Zack's back on board, Ben's back on board. He is not done with superhero genre. He's just saying that to stay within the narrative. And then you got to factor in. So there's a page on Instagram called @BatFleckMovies, and it's actually very fascinating. It looks like David Zaslav himself is already getting involved behind the scenes. We did some research and looked at the news station that was sharing the @BenAffleck Best Batman article for reference. We found the station was owned by Nexstar Media Group, which also owns various network channels. And this is where it gets thicker. The plot gets thicker. They also share ownership with other companies on some channels. One of them companies they share ownership with, and which has a major ownership, is Discovery. Yeah, Warner Bros. Discovery. That is literally going to be like a legal company in the next few weeks. Now, I'm not saying this is happening, but it is very interesting. Major ownership is Discovery. Could David Zaslav be secretly testing out social media engagement? It is possible. And this has only happened in the last couple of days or so since The Batman has come out. Now, the reason the Batman movie has done so well is literally because it's Batman. And then it went on to say this: to restore the SnyderVerse engagement and make the BatFleck movie trending every day since a certain movie was released. So as I've always told you, David Zaslav is all about restoring creativity and talent. He said that he's going to be putting $20 billion into content. He knows what numbers Zack Snyder's properties does. He knows how well Zack Snyder's doing with his Army Dead series at Netflix. Do you really think he's not sat there thinking, yeah, we're so getting him back? I pretty much guarantee behind the scenes he's already spoke to Zack Snyder. There's no mystery why this is happening, why the stars are aligning, and why everything I've said since before the Snyder Cut come out. And also, I've said this since before Release the Snyder Cut was an official thing. I am one of the founding fathers of the Release the Snyder Cut on YouTube. I'm not saying I started it, but if you go back on the channel 3 years or so, you will see since day one, everything I've said about Restore the Snyderverse has happened in some variants with some cadence. Now, irrespective of whatever Ben Affleck said when he said, yeah, I'm done, this is a passing the torch, it does not matter what happens in the main continuity or the new continuity that essentially the Flash movie is going to kick off, because we all know essentially the Flash movie is going to kill off Ben Affleck Batman. But there's something called the multiverse. And no, DC isn't copying Marvel, because DC literally created the multiverse in their comics before Marvel did. So the multiverse is literally founded by DC. So, do I think that we're going to be getting a series with Ben Affleck? It's very possible. Now, I was asked a few questions on Instagram. Why has Joe Manganiello changed his profile picture to Deathstroke on Twitter? That's a very interesting topic. Now, I've seen some people saying that Joe Manganiello Deathstroke is going to be the villain of the next Suicide Squad movie, directed by James Gunn, starring John Cena as Peacemaker, predominantly, something like that. So, yeah, that would be cool if Joe Manganiello was going to be a villain of the next Suicide Squad movie or be part of the next series. But there actually is a reason why Joe Manganiello did change his profile picture on Twitter and Instagram, and it's because potentially he is telling you that something is happening behind the scenes. Not only that, Gal Gadot recently posted a Wonder Woman shot of her first movie saying behind the scenes drama. As you know, DC made Patty Jenkins literally change the ending with Ares to whatever the studio wanted to push. It's coming, guys. It really is coming. coming. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to go in the comment section, oh, you're mad, you're crazy, you're deluded. I do read the comments, but I don't really reply to comments that say you're deluded. Something is happening behind the scenes. Now, the Batman movie is very successful, and as I've always said on this channel, I'm a fan of pop culture, I'm a fan of Marvel and DC, and whatever the kind of narrative story is going forward, I will be reviewing, I will be covering that kind of stuff. The Flash movie, Black Adam, Aquaman 2, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And if the Snyderverse gets restored, which I'm pretty confident it will, I will be recovering all the Snyderverse stuff when Zack Snyder comes back into town, and when the Snyderverse gets restored, although it doesn't really need to be restored because it hasn't gone anywhere. It's still factually there. The fact that we had the Justice League show up in Peacemaker finale, which apparently caused a lot of drama behind the scenes from what I'm personally hearing, tells us the Snyderverse will be restored. Now, I'm not deluded thinking that the Snyderverse is going to become the main continuity again. No, it's not. That's not going to happen ever. But if you understand a multiversal storyline, it doesn't need to. It can run on its own thing on HBO Max. I know what you're going to say, but what about Robert Pattinson's BatVerse and their series run on HBO Max? Irrespective, complete different universes. The audience isn't as stupid as what people think. They do understand multiverse storylines. There can be a standalone storyline or a standalone series of movies that, or TV shows that have nothing to do with anything else. I do find this Toby Emmerich line incredibly patronizing. Quality is the most important factor for a studio, and the biggest thing you can do to influence quality is the filmmaker that you hire. So if Toby Emmerich has any credibility or precedence, they know what they need to do, but they won't do that because they're not even in charge anymore. Discovery Communication is set to merge with Warner Media as early as next month. The success here of The Batman should serve as a reminder to CEO David Zaslav as how theatrical continues to work. Great for the studio, and how executives like Chairman, Motion Picture Group boss Toby Emmerich, and DC President Walter Matthau are instrumental to the movement of the studio success as the pandemic eases and moviegoers resurge. There's been word around town that Zaslav is bound to make staff cuts at the new merger, even talks of them getting rid of Ann Cernoff and Jason Keeler. Now, as we said in the prologue for this video, this movie, The Batman doing so well, had nothing to do with Walter Hamada. He is literally just a name on a paper. He didn't do anything to do with the Batman movie. So yeah, what do I think is going to happen when they come in? I think essentially David Zaslav will get rid of Ann Cernoff and Jason Keeler because they didn't do anything, and then Toby Emmerich will be on his way out, and Walter Hamada within the next year or two will be on their way out. So like always, guys, release the Snyderverse, restore the Warstu-verse. It's coming. It's all coming. It's such an exciting time to be a DC fan. We've got the Batman 2 coming. We've got all that Batman stuff. We've got Joker 2. We've got Aquaman. We've got Black Adam. We've got the Flash. And then potentially in the next 2-3 years or so, we're going to have Justice League 2-3. We're going to have the BatFleck series. It is all coming. Love to have a conversation with you guys down below. Like always, please check us out on Instagram at Warstu. If you want to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, I'm very different to what people think I would look like. Although I don't really understand how you can have a vision of what I'm meant to look like without actually knowing what I look like. But more importantly, if you made it this far, you need to subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date with all the latest and greatest Marvel, DC pop culture news. And also, if you could, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, comment down below 500 times. It really helps the algorithm. And I will catch you on Twitter, WarstuG. Please follow me over there. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.